Sun Belt Conference member Texas State is expecting an offer to join the Pac-12 for the 26-27 season. The Bobcats would be the 8th football school in the conference, 9th total school, joining Boise State, Oregon State, Washington State, San Diego State, Colorado State, Utah State, and Fresno State. Maybe instead of the Pac-12, it should just be the State Schools Conference.
Yeah. Well, had Memphis State still been called the the Memphis State, maybe we could have gotten in, but that's a whole different story.
Welcome to episode 199 of ATL Prime Sports. I'm JJ Jurjevich. Joining me this evening is my fabulous producer, Wayne Ridenauer. And you can catch us all at ATL Prime Sports on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, of course, Apple and Spotify. And as always, if you like the content, please give us a like, a subscribe, or a follow on any of those platforms. And give us a review on Apple or Spotify as well. Personal X is at JJ Get You One for myself, at RWY Jr. for Wayne, at Quarter Todd for TC Todd Quarter, who is out recovering from a routine surgery. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Todd for a quick and speedy recovery. At LG for Real, though, who is out this evening calling the Rome Emperors and Greenville Drive game. He's in the field. Wayne, how you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, but like I said in the opening there, Memphis got asked to join that Pac-12, and our athletic director has not made a decision, or that's what he's saying. But I think he's waiting to see what's going to happen. And we got a pretty good thing going here in the American Athletic Conference, and we would only be joining it for football. So I don't know. I feel like we need to stick with our conference and do our thing, and try to be one of those teams that gets in and causes commotion in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's many of ways to get in now. We've seen Cincinnati get in the 14 playoff. We saw Boise State get in the new 12-team playoff. So I am excited as well. I'm doing well, and not as well as Braves country, though. For Ronald Acuna Jr. is committed to the 2025 Home Run Derby right here in Atlanta, Georgia. He is the first player to announce his commitment to participate in the Derby. What's on tap for today's show? Are the Braves starting to turn it around? The Hawks acquired Kristaps Porzingis. Will this get them over the hump of mediocrity? Let's get into it. Our first pitch, our first topic is the Braves have won their first 5 games versus the New York Mets this season. Is this team starting to turn it around? They just might be, Wayne. But a lot of work left to do. They still got to pass 5 teams. They are still under 500, and they still are in a very, very tough, top-heavy division. So I think they are starting to do the right things, and it started with the 7-4 win Tuesday night, which propelled by a 5-run 6th inning, a 5-run 6th inning after trailing 3-0. Braves were gifted 9 base runners Tuesday night, 9 walks by Mets pitching. They lead the major leagues in that category in terms of pitching and walk batters. They added to that category pretty heavily last evening, Tuesday night. And again, it's brought on Matt Olson, local Parkview High School, Lilburn, Georgia native, has been one of the key reasons why this thing has started to 180. And it started in his last 34 games, 308 average. He's slugging 395. He's on base plus. OPS is 384 in that 34 game span. He's hit 8 home runs. He's had 31 RBIs. So that's a real reason why he's still top 10 in the category of walks. I think he's 9th in that category. My notes say he's got 48 of them, so that's got to be right. No, I'm just kidding on that. But yeah, 48 walks, top 10. He gets on base. Ozuna's still top 3 in that category. Juan Soto is actually leading the league in walks now. He's passed Ozuna. And I tell you what, when you get guys on base like that and take advantage, And the Braves Tuesday night hit 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position. That's a 400 average if you Harvard mathers out there are listening. But let me tell you something, Wayne. That's exactly what needs to happen. I said last week on this show, they have to increase that 245 batting average by about 15 points, and that will really dramatically increase the win percentage on this team. And they've started to do it. And when you do it like that, you get the 7 runs, you get the 5 runs in the 6th inning. You add on 2 more late in that game to give yourself a cushion when the Mets scored a single run in the 9th inning, and you shut that comeback down with that extra run or 2 that made that game a safe win. So that's the Braves turning things around. Again, my math is still saying it's going to be really tough to make the playoffs. But with the expanded playoffs, I've never said they're out. I just said I don't think they can make it because I think there's too many good teams in the National League in front of them. I'm not saying they can't. 2 things can be true at once. They have the talent. We've seen this team do it for 7 consecutive years, making the postseason, as I've mentioned before on this show. But again, we'll continue with Matt Olson. He goes into tonight riding a career-high 25-game on-base streak. And he's doing it in multiple ways now. He's getting it with the home run ball. He's getting the doubles. He's getting those extra, the flare singles. And just like in Bull Durham, you get that extra seeing eye ground ball. You get that extra flare to the outfield. That really jumps your average up just by doing simple things with the bat and staying in the zone a little bit longer, little small adjustments. But it's crunch time now. There's not a lot of room for error with the Braves moving down the stretch. And another thing, this turnaround has started with Spencer Strider on the mound as well. You lost Chris Sale in his last start. In the 9th inning, he dives for a ball, makes an incredible play, records the out, but fractures a rib on the 15-day injured list. Depending on pain management, we'll see when he can come back. But it wouldn't surprise me if this guy is a warrior and after 3 weeks, he's just, again, pain management, if it's somewhat healed and he feels like he can bring it, he'll probably be back in this lineup fairly quickly. But all reports right now have no timetable, so I'm not going to speculate. But I personally think it's a pain management thing for when he's able to return. I'll leave that at that. But, yeah, go back to Spencer Strider, Wayne. The guy's won his last 3 starts after starting the season 0-5. He struck out 8 batters Tuesday night. Had a long 5th inning, and he came out after that, or else I think he would have gone back out for the 6th. And that's where the Braves are turning it around, pitching and hitting. And when you hit with runners in scoring position, things really, really tend to work out for you.
Yeah. Well, Texas right now is nothing to get excited about, but every one of my family members, most of which live in the Southeast, are all excited about Braves baseball now, and I get multiple calls about it. So they're making all their fans happy and excited. However, I'm still going to stick with New York Mets, even over Philadelphia for that division. And my mom is already talking about wild card stuff. She's starting to calculate wild card. So I had to tell her, I said, wait till about this, 3rd week of August before you start looking at wild card stuff.
Well, your Rangers are up 7-0 currently on the Baltimore Orioles, who've struggled this year. But the Braves, they're playing a struggling Mets team who've dropped 10 of 11. On the flip side of that, the Braves have won 9 of their last 12. So 2 teams on opposite directions, but I don't see the Mets staying down for that long. They're up 4-1 on the Braves right now as we're recording this. And I couldn't be happier seeing this turnaround as a Braves fan. But again, you look at the teams in front, they're going to have to play really good baseball to climb back in it. They have the roster to do so. But the questions are still concerning with the bottom of that lineup. Michael Harris got hit by a pitch the other night, had to leave the game. Eli White came in, got a hit. So do you start platooning Michael Harris? Do you start platooning Ozzie Albies, who has not hit up to his standards the last couple seasons? Nick Allen, a 3-hit night Tuesday night, which is really, really refreshing for Braves fans in the bottom of that lineup to get guys on base for Ronald Acuna when that lineup flips again. So good things happening in Atlanta right now. But to be honest, it's going to have to be very little margin for error and a lot of winning down the stretch because we're under 100 games and we're almost at the All-Star break. So lots of things have to happen down the stretch for Atlanta to get into that playoff hunt. Wayne, any final thoughts on Major League Baseball?
No, I'm for some reason I am excited about that All-Star game though. Atlanta's getting to have it back, and I still feel like they were kind of snookered out of that first time, but this time we're going to make it a big deal, and I hope it's more exciting than the last couple.
Yeah, it should be a fun midsummer classic. First time in Atlanta in 25 years. So this is a once in a lifetime type event if you're an Atlanta sports fan. And I'd love to get in that building for the home run derby. I've always wanted to see a home run derby live, but tickets are outrageous. So if
Yeah,
anybody
I
wants to
imagine.
give me one, slide me a
Yeah,
ticket.
I think it might be more fun to just push up the garage door, set up a couple of chairs with the big TV, invite everybody over to watch.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's beginning to get like that. The tickets again are outrageous for that home run derby. They're just as much as the game itself, which I thought was very surprising. And in certain areas, certain seats where home runs land quite often, they're more expensive than the All-Star
Yeah.
game. So pretty interesting. Ronald Acuna Jr., as I stated earlier, will be the first he's the first to announce his commitment to the All-Star Home Run Derby portion of the weekend. So I'm excited to see him in another home run derby. That is always fun to watch.
I hope they actually show some people sitting over there in the chop house during the broadcast, though. It's easy to overlook that over there just off the first base line.
Yeah, it's fun. Chop house, be ready. I'm sure there'll be a lefty, Cal Raleigh, the Mariners catcher.
Yeah,
I'm hoping he gets a shot, to come here in Atlanta and hit. That'd be fun.
yeah.
Chop house members, look out. But yeah, we'll go from Major League Baseball to the National Basketball Association. The Hawks, wearing the hat, made some noise early this offseason, adding Kristaps Porzingis to their roster. Where do you see the Hawks finishing the regular season next year? Like I think a lot of that depends, Wayne, on how healthy Kristaps Porzingis is. If he's healthy, this could be a major move. If he's able to play 50 plus games, that's a real benefit and a big time move. That's a guy that you don't risk a lot. You held 2 first-round picks. You got rid of the 22nd overall pick. You got rid of Terrence Mann, who was averaging just under 10 points in nearly 30 minutes of play, and you were paying him over $40 million the next couple seasons over that time. And I just don't see it as a high-risk move at all. I think this is a good move for Atlanta. Most people are grading it a B+. I graded an A. You got a guy that's recently won a championship and has the ability to play that pick and roll, the pick and pop, whatever you want to call it. And Trae Young's never had that center that can do that. So maybe the pick and pop is much more in play for the Atlanta Hawks this upcoming season. And maybe that hump of mediocrity, the Hawks can get over that and start benefiting, because this team has been in the play-in. They've been to the conference finals. They've really been all over the place, but you never really felt like they're a championship team. Maybe this is that move. They need a couple more players. I can't wait to see what they do tonight at 13. The NBA draft is underway. And Wayne, what do you think about that move, man? Does that get the Hawks over the hump of mediocrity?
It's possible. I mean, new players that come in like that, they have to be integrated, I guess is the best word. But, I don't know what this guy's locker room attitude is. It's like I don't really know too much about him. So it's a wait and see for me. And I guess, I don't want to jump ahead of you, but we'll talk about the draft position soon, I imagine.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, and Cooper Flagg did go number 1 overall to the Dallas Mavericks. So we kind of all knew that was going to happen. Right now, the next pick on the clock, the Charlotte Hornets. And look, this was probably since Zion Williamson, the most knockout the park first overall pick I've seen since LeBron James prior to that. So Cooper Flag, number 1 overall, Dylan Harper, number 2 overall, and everybody in their right mind had those two guys going 1, 2, and even 3 with VJ going to the 76ers. So again, your Hawks will pick 13th. They get that pick from 22nd pick. Will go to the Brooklyn Nets, who have 5 first-round draft picks tonight. So the Nets can really rebuild their franchise. They kind of took a page out of the OKC Thunder, who have up 10,000 first-round draft picks over the next several years. So you're just going to see a lot of teams start doing that, acquiring draft picks and seeing what you can get out of the draft and building teams through the draft, because the OKC Thunder and really their opponent, the Indiana Pacers, in that postseason final, they're doing this much of the similar aspect. Build teams through the draft, and I think it's good for the NBA. I think more parity is good for the NBA than dynasties all over the place and super teams this, super team that. But yeah, hats off to Cooper Flag, the forward from Duke, the first overall pick in your 2025 NBA draft. Wayne, your thoughts so far on the draft, buddy?
Let me see, I'm typing something here. Anyway, Memphis being as far back in the draft pick as they are, I don't know what kind of player they need or anything, but the one thing I do know, I know who is 100% coming to Memphis, and that's Stephen A. Smith. He's supposed to come here and talk to the mayor about his comments he let go on ESP, some show or something, saying that
First Take.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Should be fun. But yeah, back to the Porzingis trade real quick. Just to kind of recap it, if you hadn't heard, 3-team trade. Hawks acquired center Kristaps Porzingis and a future second-round pick in a 3-team trade. The Celtics sent Porzingis, again, in a second-round pick to Atlanta, while shooting guard Terrence Mann and Atlanta's 22nd pick went to Brooklyn, and strong forward Georges Niang and the second-round pick went to Boston. So that's the 3-team trade. And again, I go back to the health of Porzingis. That's going to be the real factor of if the Hawks get over the hump of mediocrity. He's played quite a few games the last couple of years, but he hasn't played 60-plus games only 3 times in his career. So you can't expect a full season from Porzingis, and that's really going to be the deciding factor in this trade. Is if Atlanta gets 60 games, if they get 50-plus games or 45-plus games, that's half the season, I think it's a pretty good win for the Atlanta Hawks, and it gives you a shot, if healthy, to have a mismatch down in that paint in a key series where Trae Young, again, can work that pick and roll, that pick and pop, and maybe gets the easy points here and there, and that'll definitely help his assist total down the stretch and the rest of his career while Kristaps is here. So interesting trade. I do think it'll help the Hawks get up over that play-in hump, but we'll see. They do need to add a little bit more to this team to get over the hump of the NBA Conference Finals, right, where they've just stopped right there. Yeah. At that ceiling. So we'll see. Should be fun. NBA draft underway yet again, and you can catch that right now on ABC and ESPN. Wayne, any final thoughts on the NBA draft for the Atlanta Hawks or your Memphis Grizz?
Well, the only thing I'm going to ask you is this. Based on the sheer number of games in a season for NBA basketball, and this is something I've thought goes on often, how many of those teams or coaches or administrators or something look at the schedule, and when they get to a certain game or a certain part of the season, they look at the opponent and they go, you know what, it's not worth any of us getting hurt or anything like that. Let's just, make it a good game, but I don't think we need to necessarily win this game and try to, put too much of an effort. Or do you think they actually go out and try to win every single game?
Yeah, it's tough. The NBA came down on that. They made a rule about players not being injured and sitting out for maintenance reasons
Yeah.
or
Well,
rest
this
reasons.
doesn't even have to
So,
be
so
for players, though. It could just be that the coach says, "Hey, fellas, listen, take it easy tonight. Don't worry about this game."
the NBA came down on it. So you're not technically allowed to do that anymore, but I think coaches still find ways to
Yeah.
to have fake injuries on there to give their guys maintenance rest and things like that, days off for a long season. Personally, I think the best way to do that would be make players get paid by a percentage of the games they play, and I think that will stop a lot of that
Yeah.
real quick. Go ahead, Wayne.
No, that's it.
So we go from the NBA to our final thoughts. Wayne, why don't you start us off with your final thought, buddy?
Well, my final thought is going to be a big thank you to the medical staff at the Methodist Le Bonheur Quick Clinic. I had to go up there Sunday, believe that, Sunday at noon. And I was only in there for about an hour, but I got diagnosed with shingles, which I'm recovering from now. So I just want to give a shout out to those folks. I appreciate what y'all did for me and got me on the way to healing.
Yeah, my final thought is about fans in general. Fans need to keep the trash talking classy. I don't mind a good trash talking, but a 22-year-old fan was banned from all Major League Baseball ballparks after yelling something to Arizona Diamondbacks second baseman Ketel Marte relating to his late mother who passed away tragically in 2017.
Dang.
The incident happened Tuesday night in Chicago. It brought Marte to tears, and it was really kind of moving because the players gathered around him. You kind of were wondering what was going on. It was never clear what the fan said, but again, he did go over the line, and fans need to keep it to the basics. No cursing directly at a player. Keep family out of it, and you're pretty good there.
Yeah.
I don't mind, you bleeping suck. I don't mind and personally, I'm not a cursing guy because there's always children and women around. But in my younger days, though, I mean, okay, but I don't mind that. I don't mind a good old, I used like in 2019 when the Nationals won the World Series. And Bryce Harper came to Philadelphia, and instead of saying Philadelphia, he says, I want to bring a championship home to the fans of Washington. And, well, they did. They won it. They won the championship, and Bryce Harper was in Philadelphia. So it was kind of funny, and I made a funny on that. He tipped his hat because it was clever. That was right at the beginning of the 21 season where pandemic measures were still in place. So there's only like 2,000 fans. And he kind of laughed and chuckled. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But you got to keep it classy, no cursing directly at a player. You can't be like, hey, Bryce Harper, bleep you. That's wrong. And what this 22-year-old fan did, he deserved to be banned from all stadiums. That is unbelievable. And again, you leave family out of it, especially if someone's no longer with us. So fans, keep the trash talk classy. And remember, these guys are people too.
Yeah, if you really want to hear something, go up there in the cheap beer drinking seats.
There you go. They can't hear you up there. Well, that wraps it up for Wayne in Memphis. For me right here in Lilburn, Georgia. For Larry, who's calling the Rome Emperors game, and Todd, who's recovering from his surgery. That wraps up another edition of ATL Prime Sports. If you like the content, give us a like. Give us a follow. We're good guys. We have fun doing this. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for everything. We'll catch you next week and get you one. See ya.